are back for episode 3 of Building a Nation in Poland with Górnicze Klub Sportowe Katowice. Now, we've already started the season. I'm just going to go over the signings, the tactics that we're going to be using because there is a change, and a few of the results. I did live stream over in Twitch yesterday, and for most of that run, well, you'll see we had an atrocious time with it in terms of results, of course. Now, the 3 signings we're bringing in, we have Lenny Lobato, Argentinian and Brazilian, left winger / right winger. He'll fit in nicely to a lineup. And then we're bringing in Jesper Lufgren, or is it Lafgren? I don't speak Swedish, so for those of you who do, feel free to correct me. And he is going to come in as a central defender, playing in a stopper duty. And finally, Francis McAllister, also joining us on a free, and he will slot in as a box-to-box midfielder, or a Mazzala if we need him there. And here we are with our tactical setup for the season. We are going to roll with our 5-2-3 system, which I've been testing in other saves as well, and in my Pentagon save that I'm doing, it did extremely well at 2 different clubs. But that's another topic for another day. So our best 11 are set in here. We're gonna roll with, well, Samu's gonna start off the season. Of course, our starter is still Dejan Stanivukovic. And then in central defense, we have 2 ball-playing defenders in Faye and Repka. Lufgren is going to slot in the middle as a central defender on a stopper duty. Bondo and Knotts will be starters for most of the season on the wing-back positions. McAllister, box-to-box. Aleman will swap with Itura and Brod mostly throughout the season, so there will be rotation in that position for the Mazzala. And Lobato and Dita on the wings, and Suarez up front. Right, so here we are with the results over the last 14 matches, and we are currently in 16th place. In a relegation spot at the moment, but we've still got another 20 matches that are to be played, and we certainly have to do better than we have been so far. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did stream on Twitch for a few hours yesterday, and it was mainly with these games right here. So we started the season well with a 4-1 win and a 3-0 win, and then we went on a 8-match losing skid in the league, and also got knocked out of the cup. So following that, what I ended up doing is I modified the tactic ever so slightly. Instead of playing at a higher tempo, we went all the way down to lower tempo, and we put in hit early crosses, took off run at defense. We also took off counter in transition phase, and we dropped to a low block for the line of engagement with a standard defensive line. Now, one thing I could still do, I think we'll trigger press, we'll take off prevent short goalkeeper distribution, but that should be it actually. We'll keep trigger pressing them on much more often, just to restrict that space. And now that we're more compact between our lines, things should be relatively better. Now, after that 9-match debacle, we finally managed to win against Pogoń Szczecin, who are actually in first place in the league right now, so that was a bit of a surprise, and especially right after changing the way our tactic works. And following that, we had a 2-2 draw against Górniczy Klub Sportowy Tychy and 2-0 win against Last Wrocław. Now, of course, we did lose to Legia Warszawa, pardon me, in our very last match, and that is it for our season so far. We haven't made... Actually, we made 3 signings as well, which I forgot to mention earlier. So, Franco Perez had to join us because both Dita and Lenny Lovato got injured, so we needed another winger there. So, Franco Perez joined us on a free transfer yet again. Surprise, surprise, right? Eduardo Fernandez, a young goalkeeper, as we actually started to build out our youth setup, because we are still very thin in that department. And Roberto Braz is there for the same reason, so he's in our under 19s right now. We do have a number of players joining us in February. All of them are youngsters, and all of them, well, will serve the same purpose of filling out our youth team ranks. And that is pretty much it for how the season is going so far. I will continue on with the save, and we will check the latter half of the season results after. And here we are with our end of season review for this season number 3. Where we left off was with the match against Legia Warszawa, which we lost 2-0. And from there we went on a surprising run of 5 league matches undefeated before finally losing to Pogoń Szczecin right before the start of the winter break. And then we played a couple of friendlies just to keep the match sharpness up for the start of the second half of the season, where we did really well, only losing twice, once to Warta Poznań and once at the end of the season to Zagłębie Lubin by a score of 1-0 and 2-1. All other matches, except for one match here against Raków Częstochowa, who ended up winning the league, ended in a win, including a smashing of Górnik Zabrze 7-2 away from home. So that was our end of season 3, and surprisingly, at the end of it all, we qualified for Conference League for season number 4. And really, this was a surprise because, well, you've seen our run of 8 matches without a win at the start of the season, but we managed to dig ourselves out of it, and the tactical tweaks that we made definitely helped us push towards that end goal of ending in the top half of the table. I didn't expect to qualify for Europe, but we managed to pull it off. So yeah, that is the end of season 3, and that is also the end of this video. So if you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and check out my Patreon, and leave a comment or two. I'll get back to all of you as soon as I can, and we will see you back in episode number 4.